Irish scenery is among the most spectacular in Europe, with breathtaking views and stunning landscapes throughout the whole country. There are the famous spots, of course, but they're not alone. If you're driving, get off the main roads when you can. Some of the country's most stunning scenery is best enjoyed on secondary roads that wind their narrow way through standout photo ops. Here's our guide to the places that will make a trip to Ireland one to remember, for a long time. Munster, Southern Ireland. The English Market, Cork City, best for food lovers. The English Market is a true gem, with its ornate vaulted ceilings, columns and polished marble fountain. Scores of market traders set up stalls of local fresh produce including meat, fish, fruit, cheeses and takeaway food. Queen Elizabeth II made a memorable trip here on her first visit to Ireland, where she shared a joke with fishmonger Pat O'Connell. On a sunny day, take your lunch to nearby Bishop Lucy Park, a popular alfresco eating spot. Sheep's Head, West Cork, best for rugged views. The Sheep's Head Peninsula has a wild charm all its own, and as the name suggests, there are plenty of sheep. The road west from Durrus passes through Aughacasta, Atha and Chiste, which has a couple of pubs including the charming, tin-roofed Aughacasta Bar. Take your pint out the back and step into a 19th-century Victorian garden with truly incredible view. Make a stop at Durrus Farmhouse, and watch the cheese-making process through a viewing window. The Gap of Dunloe, County Kerry, best for breathtaking photos. The Gap of Dunloe is a wild and scenic, and sometimes hairy, mountain pass, studded with crags and bejeweled with lakes and waterfalls, that lies to the west of Killarney National Park, squeezed between Purple Mountain and the high summits of the McGillicuddy Reeks, Ireland's highest mountain range. Take a pony and trap ride with a local for an authentic experience, or walk the gap to allow time to take in the majestic views. Make your way to Heather Cafe, for a true farm-to-fork experience, with veg from its fields and polytunnels, while seafood and meat are locally and sustainably sourced. Cliffs of Moher, County Clare, best for top visitor experience. One of Ireland's blockbuster sites, the Cliffs of Moher are staggeringly beautiful, and as a result a visit there is high on every visitor's agenda, so be warned it will be busy here. The entirely vertical cliffs rise to a height of 214 meters, their edge abruptly falling away into a ceaselessly churning Atlantic. Views stretch to the Aran Islands and the hills of Connemara. Sunsets here see the sky turn a kaleidoscope of amber, amethyst, rose pink and deep garnet red. The turf-covered visitors center cut into the hillside, has engaging exhibitions covering the fauna, flora, geology and climate of the cliffs. St. Declan's Way, Ardmore, County Waterford, best for starting the Irish Camino. The seaside village of Ardmore was once one of the most important Christian settlements in Ireland. Today's visitors come mainly to enjoy the beaches, both the town strand and secluded Ballyquin Beach, as well as water sports and bracing coastal walks. The Irish Camino, St. Declan's Walk, starts from Ardmore through 56 miles, 96 kilometers, crossing the Knockmealdown Mountains to Cashel in County Tipperary. Follow the blue signposts along the route and consult this local website for advice. The 5-star Cliff House Hotel in Ardmore is a destination hotel. If budgets allow, the 8-course menu in the Michelin Star House restaurant is something to savor. Garnish Island, West Cork, best for discovering a hidden world. Take the short ferry ride from Glengariff Harbour in County Cork and you step into a Garden of Eden. A well-kept secret, Garnish is home to exotic plants and unusual species, owing to the microclimate on the island. Stroll around the gardens, including an Italian garden, a Japanese garden and the kitchen garden, all which have been impeccably maintained for over a century. Visit the Martello Tower on the island, dating from 1805. The ferry ride itself is a wonder, passing a colony of over 250 harbor seals. The island opens from April to October. Rock of Cashel, best for a Game of Thrones-like location. Soaring up from the green Tipperary pastures, this ancient fortress takes your breath away at first sight. The seat of kings and churchmen who ruled over the region for more than 1,000 years, it rivaled Tara as a centre of power in Ireland for 400 years. Entered through the 15th-century hall of the Vicar's Choral, its impervious walls guard an awesome enclosure with a complete round tower, a 13th-century Gothic cathedral and the most magnificent 12th-century Romanesque chapel in Ireland. Entry is free, but tickets must be reserved online. Adare Village, County Limerick, best for a picture postcard feeling. Overtouted as Ireland's prettiest village, Adare's fame centres on its string of thatched cottages built by 19th-century English landlord, the Earl of Dunraven, for workers constructing Adare Manor. Today the pretty cottages house craft shops and fine restaurants, while prestigious golf courses nearby cater to golf enthusiasts. The Irish name for Adare is Ath Dara, the Ford of the Oak. The village is 16 kilometres southwest of Limerick. On the approach to the village is Adare Manor. Today it is a luxury 5-star hotel and golf resort. Visitors are permitted to drive in and take a look at the incredible grounds and castle. Wild Atlantic Way, best for road trippers. No visit to Ireland is complete without tackling some part of the 1555-mile-long Wild Atlantic Way. Depending on what direction you travel, the craggy, crenellated Donegal coastline is either the dramatic finale of the Wild Atlantic Way or its breathtaking beginning. Ireland's northwestern corner is an untamed collection of soaring cliffs, the tallest in Europe, lonely, sheep-speckled headlands and, between them, secluded coves and long stretches of white, powdery sand. Among them, in the county's southwest, is Rossnola, one of Europe's premier surf beaches and a hotspot for big-wave surfers. Leinster, East Ireland, Glendalough, best for stepping back centuries in time. No trip to Ireland would be complete without a visit to Glendalough. Why? It is one of the most beautiful places in the country, and has been recognized for its romantic landscape since the arrival of Saint Kevin, who made a home here in the 5th century. During the Middle Ages, when Ireland was known as the Island of Saints and Scholars, Glendalough became a monastic city catering to thousands of students and teachers. The site is entered through the only surviving monastic gateway in Ireland. Around the monastic site can get congested with visitors, but head away from the crowds and up to the lakes of Glendalough for scenery that will take your breath away. Kilmainham Jail, Dublin City, best for learning about Ireland's struggle for independence. If you want to understand Irish history, especially the long-running resistance to British rule, then a visit to this former prison is an absolute must. A threatening grey building, Kilmainham Jail was built in 1796. It's played a role in virtually every act of Ireland's painful path to independence, and even today, despite closing in 1924, it still has the power to chill. The tour is gripping, but maybe not suitable for younger children, as it ends in a courtyard where the leaders of the 1916 rebellion were executed. Croke Park GAA Stadium, Dublin, best for sporting fans. Gaelic games, hurling and football, are fast, furious and the beating heart of every town and village in the country. The dream of every club player is to represent their county at Croke Park in Dublin, the incredible 82,300 capacity stadium right in the heart of the city. Visit the Croke Park Museum to discover the history of the GAA, which has Ireland's cultural identity in its DNA. If you can get a ticket to a match, all the better, and if Dublin are playing, try to get yourself onto Hill 16, where you will be entertained as much by the banter of supporters around you as the sport on the pitch. Dublin's Georgian Square's best for city strolling. A perfect way to spend an afternoon in Dublin is to wander around the city's elegant spaces of Marion and Fitzwilliam Squares and take in the exquisite architecture. Here you'll find the perfect mix of imposing public buildings, museums, and private offices and residences. These include the home of the Irish Parliament at Leinster House and, immediately surrounding it, the main branch of the National Museum of Ireland and the Museum of Natural History. Situated on Marion Square is Ireland's preeminent gallery, packed with art from 8 centuries of European tradition. Take a trip over to the north side to the more vibrant, community-centered Mountjoy Square, and stop off at the Hugh Lane Gallery on Parnell Square on the way, and view an incredible contemporary art collection. Phoenix Park, best for a sunny afternoon in Dublin. The Phoenix Park has a lot to offer visitors, including Dublin Zoo, Áras and Uach Terrain, home of the Irish President, the official residence of the U.S. Ambassador, the Papal Cross, where John Paul II said Mass to 1 million people in 1979, and the often missed Farmley House. The Irish government's official guest house is this fine Georgian Victorian pile designed by James Gandon. Originally part of the Guinness estate, the guided tour only includes the ground floor, but it's still pretty impressive, especially the fantastic library and glass conservatory. The vast pleasure gardens with lake and walled and Japanese gardens are a delight to stroll. At the weekends you can enjoy a farmer's market in the grounds of Farmley. Ulster, Northern Ireland. Carrick a Reed Rope Bridge, County Antrim best for thrill seekers. Now firmly on the tour bus route, Carrick a Reed has become so popular that you need to book in advance of a visit. Mornings tend to be quieter, the coaches arrive in the afternoon. The 20m long, 1m wide bridge of wire rope is not for the faint-hearted, swaying 30 meters above the rock-strewn water. Crossing the bridge is perfectly safe, but frightening if you don't have a head for heights, especially if it's breezy. In high winds the bridge is closed. From the island, views take in Rathlin Island and Fairhead to the east. The Giant's Causeway, County Antrim best for ticking off the bucket list. This spectacular rock formation, Northern Ireland's only UNESCO World Heritage Site, is one of Ireland's most impressive and atmospheric landscape features, a vast expanse of regular, closely packed, hexagonal stone columns looking for all the world like the handiwork of giants. The phenomenon is explained in the Giant's Causeway visitor experience, housed in a state-of-the-art eco-friendly building half hidden in the hillside above the sea. Visiting the Giant's Causeway itself is free of charge, but you pay to use the car park on a combined ticket with the visitor centre. Parking-only tickets aren't available. Belfast Murals, County Antrim best for understanding Ireland's recent past. The gable walls of Belfast have become an important tourist attraction, depicting the troubles of the 1970s and 1980s. As the voice of the community, the murals were rarely permanent, but changed to reflect the issues of the day. Many nationalist murals in West Belfast commemorate the hunger strike of 1981, when 10 IRA men starved themselves to death in prison. The Loyalist battle cry of "No Surrender" is common, along with red, white and blue painted curbstones. There are various tours that will give a good explanation of the history of Northern Ireland and the murals that depict significant events, or you can take a self-guided walking tour. Connacht, Western Ireland. The Aran Islands. The three Aran Islands are situated 40 minutes by boat from Galway, but each has a very distinct flavour. Inishmore, Irish. Innismore, is the largest island and home to the only town, Kilronan. Inishmaan, Innismean, preserves its age-old traditions and evokes a sense of timelessness. Inisheer, Inniswaer, the smallest island, has a strong traditional music culture. Dun Ongaza is one of the largest prehistoric stone forts in Europe and stands guard over Innismore on the edge of a 100-metre sheer cliff drop. Galway City best for immersing yourself in Irish culture. Galway is one of Ireland's most energetic cities. While it's steeped in history, the city buzzes with a contemporary vibe. Brightly painted pubs heave with live music, while restaurants and cafes offer front-row seats for observing buskers and street theatre. Remnants of the medieval town walls lie between shops and pubs, and a long promenade leads to the seaside suburb of Salthill, on Galway Bay, the source of the area's famous oysters. Ben Bulben, Sligo best for taking your breath away. A flat-top mountain visible along Sligo's northern coast, Ben Bulben, resembles a table covered by a pleated cloth. Walking here is not for the uninitiated. High Hopes Mountain Treks leads hikes to the top. It's best to stock up with snacks for hiking in the Benbulben area, as restaurants are few and far between. Pay a visit to nearby grave of poet W. B. Yeats in Drumcliff Cemetery.